YouTubers, Shenny's in the house again. This one is part 7 of the transit project. So if you want to watch the other ones, check my playlist on CarJunkeez on YouTube. Just drop in the fuel tank. Well, that's the tank out. Proper manky. Just got that little patch that I've got to chuck in there, so I'll weld that up now. That's that patched up. What have I got for you today, mate? Hey. Golden grahams in a cake there, mate. Look at that. Nice that, isn't it? Put a bit of filler here and there, just a few little bits that I want smoothing out. Sand that when it's all gone off. Just sanded that bit down and put a bit of primer on it. Ready for stone chipping. So the MGF master cylinder has arrived. So it looks like it should do the job, that. So I've got to somehow mount that on there and make it so that the clutch pedal pivots at the correct distance from the pivot point for it to do the full travel of that master cylinder. So I'll have a mess with that. So I just welded a piece of plate and then another piece of plate on top of that, and I drilled an hole in it and then put a radius on it, and then the idea that'll just go in there like that. And then obviously I've got the pin to go through it as well. So I've only tacked the bottom bit on yet because I want to see if that pivot distance is okay. So I'm going to pop it in there and just try it and see how it goes before I weld it proper and put a bracket on top. So I got that sussed. It was quite easy actually. I know it doesn't look the best, but it works well. So I just got a bracket there with a nut on the end. Got a nut there welded into it. Spin it around, show the back of it. So there it is. It's all mounted up. And it is nice and strong. So just press the clutch. Look at that. Perfect. No problems there. Not bad that. Should be okay. And it all fits underneath the dash nice and good, so that'll do. Get it all stripped down and painted up, and then it's ready for fitting. So just a trial fit. As you can see, it's upright, that reservoir, and you can get pretty easy access to that really. Not too bad that. Should be okay that. Can even get the switch for the brake light in, so all good. So I've just welded up all the little holes, you know, for it, because obviously it was left-hand drive, all the little bolt holes for the steering and the pedal box and everything. I'm probably going to weld these up. I've just got to decide which ones I've got to weld up because of the loom can go through one of them, you see. But all of them are for the right-hand drive pedal box, and I've got to do another one for the steering, so get on with that when I get the steering column. Just cutting some little bits out just to fill all these little holes in, get them boxed off. So I just welded all them holes up there. Just cut little pieces out and welded them in, ground them off and that. I just got to get a bit of etch primer on it now. Just put a bit of etch primer on that before I put the stone chip on. So I've done a bit of undersealing, bit of the bitumen stuff inside there and there. Just got to neaten it up a little bit. My gun wasn't working proper on that, so I've got to redo that again. And then did it underneath here as well. Nice and sealed everywhere. Still all tacky. other side as well. Not too bad. A little bit underneath there, just started that. But now I'm just messing about with this step. Just getting the destroyer on it. Get rid of all that bog what was on it. So I took all the bog off it. So I just got to do a bit of patching and a bit of rust treating, and then probably stone chip and a bit of paint. So I'll get on with that, I think. So I welded a patch on there and welded all the little holes and rust treated it, and I've done a bit of rust treatment in the cavity, and I just got to put that plate on, but I'm just going to fill the cavity up with some wax oil before I do that. So an update, I've not filmed what I've been doing because it's been such crap work. Took the shockers off and all bumpers on the back and that, and took the rear axle off, took the tow hitch off, prop shaft, rear springs, and then I've got her on some concrete blocks. I've been scraping before I got the axle off, the rear axle. I've been scraping all underneath, and basically it's had a load of underseal on. That is what I have scraped off, all that lot, with a little tiny scraper. Honestly, it must be about flipping 20 kilos of the crap there. Someone has undersealed it over dirt, so I've had to scrape it all off. So yeah, I've been doing that. It's been the crappiest job going, so I've been doing that for like 2.5 days, fitting it in between work and that. So I've not finished yet because I just took the rear axle off, so I've got to finish that bit. Like I've just got to do them little bits underneath the arches and that, and then got a wire brush, all that lot, but I've got most of it off. It was absolutely thick. Can't believe they'd gone over mud and dirt with, you know, well, that's what they used to do in it back in the day when they was selling them, make them look good. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Absolutely minging job using that little scraper. So yeah, I've just got to clean it all up, wire brush it. There's a little patch at the back I've got to do, a welding. Other than that, it's dead solid. Then I'm gonna get loads of that on it, loads of underseal, loads of shilts on it. So yeah, so I've finished doing all the scraping underneath. There's the big monster pile, like I say. Look at all that, mate. So yeah, all that's done. I've just put a load of old cardboard down and sheeting and stuff, masked it all up. All masked up there. Scraped it all off, so it's ready for shiltsing now. Do that in the morning. Well, work dependent, like. So yeah, all masked up. Just had one little patch to do up there of welding, and all the rest of it's solid. So got all the shilts ready there. Get all that chucked on. Should be all right then. So I've done all the undersealing now. It was a right messy job that. Just ended up throwing my clothes away, what I was wearing, doing it. But yeah, it looks a bit better now underneath. Look at all that. 11 tubs of it took. So shouldn't be going rusty anytime soon, that. It's not too bad now, that. Absolutely everywhere it is. And there was only one little patch of welding I had to do underneath here, in this corner, which is not too bad. Up there, little tiny patch, and that's all. Everything else was absolutely solid. A little bit of top rust at the back, and I rust treated it, and then levered all this stuff on, and she's all good now. Happy days. So my steering column off the Defender's eventually arrived, so I'm going to have a mess with that now. try and concoct something together. So we're going to have a play with that. So I'm going to put the pedal box back in temporarily, and then I'll put the steering box back on as well temporarily, and then I'll drill a big hole here so I can get the Defender column through, and then I think I'm going to have to do a bracket here toward the bottom of the column, and another bracket to reinforce the dashboard where it's mounted at the top of the column. So I've got this pretty much sussed out now. Got the Land Rover steering column there mocked up. I've just whipped this bracket off, which they have. It actually welds on the side there and goes upright, not on a normal Defender. So I've whipped that off and got the distancing about right where I want the steering wheel to live. So all the switch gear and everything on the Defender will go on it dead easy, and then I've got the cowling which will go over the top and everything. All that fits on alright, and the bottom cowling. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to weld it to the pedal box bracket. So I'll weld it both sides, weld it both sides underneath as well, so that'll be part of the pedal box, and I'll be able to put that all in situ as one piece, thread it through the hole, and then if we go around here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip one of these lugs off, and then I'm going to make a bracket which comes up and across to the wing there, just to strengthen that for any play. This, obviously it's the Mark III Transit manual steering box, came with the UJ which goes into their sliding joint for the Transit, but I've got TD5 one here which I've just whipped the knuckle joint off, so that knuckle will go on there, and all I've got to do, basically I just had a quick grind, and this actually goes on there with just very minor work, yeah, but what I've got to do is just replicate that shape down here, yeah, which is easy enough with grinder, and then that'll live there like that. That's sorted, that'll be braced, and that's it, happy days. So I've got all that welded on. Shouldn't be going anywhere, that should be nice and strong. Should be alright, that. So I'll get that plonk back on now and make the other bracket underneath the bonnet. So I've whipped the end off that and then shortened it and ground it down so it'll fit in there nicely now. Pop that in there like that, nice little fit, and then pop that bolt in, job's a good in, and then that'll fit between there nicely. So I'll do a trial fit now. So it's on, fits perfect, check that out, belting that, isn't it? Job's a good one, mate. So, like I say, I'm just going to do a bracket going down here and across there. It doesn't really need it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then inside the vehicle, I've got to do like a brace underneath the dash, because it obviously I'm converting it to right-hand drive. It doesn't have one in like there. It's got one in on the left-hand drive bit. So I'll do that, I think. So I made a little bracket there, bolts on the inner wing there. There's a bit of angle going down there to the chassis leg. Should be alright, that. Just got to paint it up and that. So that's that bit done. So I'm going to take it all apart now and do that little brace underneath the dashboard. So I just made this little bracket, little brace out of a bit of steel. Just basically just to go underneath here. So So it just pops over here, and then I'm going to weld it round here and weld it round there, and then obviously the steering column will bolt up there. Don't need to be that thick, but you don't even really need it, but better to be safe than sorry. So I've got that welded in there now. Should be okay, that nice and strong. I'm going to do a little bit of rust treatment on these little bits, and then I'll do some bitumen, you know, the shilts underneath here. I'm going to put a few holes in here because there's a couple of earths on the loom, so I'll attach that while that's bare as well, so I won't paint that yet. So I've just done a bit of rust treatment, a few little bits and bobs underneath there. Let that go off, and then tomorrow I'll get all the shilts on it. So I've done loads of scraping, wire brushing and rust treatment in the back now. So all down the sides, and that was a bit crusty. An old underseal and that, hiding some rust. So I've sorted all that out. So I've just got to let that go off, and then I can shilt the whole inside then. I've took all the wooden ribs off the side as well because I want to redo them. A couple of us snapped and disformed and that, so I'll get that sorted. So, finally finished all the shilts in. Check that out. Looks nice that now, doesn't it? Bit shiny at the minute, but it's all getting covered anyway, just to protect it. Smells absolutely beautiful. So I've used 16 subs of it. 16 litres. Not bad that. Shiny, shiny. I've done underneath the dash as well. Underneath there. So next on the cards is stone chip. Got stone chip all that. A bit of body work and that where I've rust treated it, bit of filling. And then all stone chip underneath here. All these off. So yeah, let this go off for a couple of days and then get on the stone chip, I think. So I've got the stone chip on. There's a bit of bog in here and that where I've just got to do a few little bits to touch up. And then done the steps in stone chip. Just a little bit on the back as well in stone chip. But on this step it's reacted a bit. Must have been something to do with that paint. So I've got to rectify that. And then go over in colour. Same with under the bonnet as well. So I'll get on with that. Just finished spraying. So that's with a stone chip, and I've just gone over in 2-pack with a solid colour. Same colour as the vehicle. Put my mask on because it's a bit potent in here. There's a step. A little bit on the back edge there. And then there's that other step as well, so let that go off now. How's a kite, mate? Probably couldn't hear me before, all masked up and that. Give it a couple of hours now, it's gone off a bit, so there's that back end I've done. I've just done like stone chip there, just in that band, and then just gone over it with some 2-pack of the colour, which I got mixed up off colour tone. It looks like a good match actually, but obviously it's not in the daylight, but looks good so far. And then this step's worked out alright because it had all reacted the stone chip, so it's alright now. So that looks a bit better. Obviously that's all stone chip and then painted over again with that colour. So that's done. And then Go around the other side. That step's done as well there. Same again, stone chip and then the 2-pack colour. That's alright. It's nice and fresh in there now. All the bitumen down and everything. So just had a little section here which I've done, which has just got a flat out. There's a bit on the door there as well. Can't even see that, so it must be quite a good match. Bit on the pillar there as well, and there was a little bit here as well. So just got to flat them out when it's gone off proper, and then the whole of underneath here are stone chipped, and then gone over in the colour. So looks all right. That looks better than what it was anyway. So all the holes are correct, like I say, for all the right hand conversion which I've done. So that's ready for action, and all them holes are blocked up, all welded up outside from the left hand drive. So this bit looks alright now. It's stone chipped in as well. Looks a lot better that, but the bumper goes over it anyway, so that looks better. So yeah, happy days. So next on the agenda is to strip all the steering column and pedal box and clutch cylinder off, and then wire wheel it all down and etch prime it and paint it and then rebuild it. Get that done. Same with the springs, got to do them. Prop shaft, I've got to modify that, but that can wait till they get the engine in. Don't know what I'm doing with the fuel tank yet, whether to keep that one or to get a different one, I'm not sure, but I can carry on with rebuilding the rear axle. So I'll do that. I think it's got a 4.4 ratio diff in it, and I think the best one I can get for it is 3.9. So my mate's trying to get me one of them at the minute. So, but I can strip it down for rebuilding anyway. So get on with that. So yeah, I think that'll do for this one really. If you want to check the other ones out, there's a playlist on my channel there, CarJunkeez, check them out. So yeah, until the next one, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that malarkey, and I'll catch you on the next one.